Hey, Warpugs. So, this was requested by the High Inquisitor, also known as Wojak. This is SCP 7503 Sacrum Humanum Imperium. Now, I can already see a couple of things that are leading me to believe just a little bit of something here about this. This is done by the Crux of Mystery. I have never seen this creator before, but I have heard good things. So, we're going to check this out. See what it's about. I have a feeling I'm not going to be... I got a feeling this is going to be right up my alley. Let's go. SCP-7503. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. All that kind of good stuff. Let's get into it.
This time, we will be focusing on a group of religious zealots who have established a galaxy-spanning empire.
Okay.
This is an intriguing SCP case that merits examination, an in-depth analysis of the group's ideology, structure, and abilities. We will also be examining the potential threat they pose to humanity, and the steps that need to be taken to contain or neutralize this threat, even though we currently do not have any established measures to do so. So, without further ado, let us proceed with the examination. Item number 7503. Containment Class, Keter. Secondary Class, Uncontained. Special Containment Procedures. There is currently no known way of containing SCP-7503. The Foundation, the Horizon Initiative, and the GOC have accorded to maintain a global monitoring operation to detect SCP-7503 related activity and counteract it immediately by any means necessary. Description: SCP-7503 is a spacefaring theocratic political entity from the alternate timeline designated as Alpha-3. Not only does SCP-7503 exert total dominance over its version of the planet Earth, but it has colonized an estimated 54% of the Milky Way. SCP-7503 technological achievements are anomalous in nature, employing a type of functional thaumaturgy that bears resemblance to medieval alchemic practices.
Okay.
SCP-7503 has shown xenophobic hostility and imperialistic intentions towards social and political entities outside its control. SCP-7503 possesses faster-than-light capabilities.
Right.
And has engaged in a so-called Eternal Crusade,
It's the Imperium man.
militaristic expansion campaign against all extraterrestrial sentient life.
Yeah.
SCP-7503's advance has been halted by a coalition of alien civilizations known as the Covenant of the Second Hideoff.
Maybe not.
SCP-7503 and the Covenant of the Second Hideoff are currently engaged in a galaxy-spanning protracted Cold War. SCP-7503 was first encountered during the Benevento Incident. Foundation and Horizon Initiative forces engaged in combat against a hostile entity previously identified as SCP-7503 and now designated as a Goliath-class Relicarium by Horizon Initiative researchers.
Oh, what?
At first, SCP-7503 was believed to be an isolated anomalous entity of Euclid class. However, the discovery of at least 2 other Goliath-class reliquary and other archaeological sites around Italy led to the Foundation to reclassify SCP-7503 to Keter. Fortunately, the 2 found reliquary were contained before they could be activated.
Okay.
After Incident 143, novel information on SCP-7503 was obtained. SCP-7503 should be assumed to have hostile intentions toward Prime Timeline's Earth. SCP-7503 military capabilities are estimated to be orders of magnitude above the current global military forces, including the Foundation and GOC. There is practically no possibility of mounting a successful military resistance against SCP-7503.
Lovely.
Incident 143. On June 18th, an unknown spacecraft was suddenly detected entering Earth's orbit by Foundation radars. The spacecraft crashed 16 kilometers south of Esmirna, Turkey. Foundation personnel were rapidly mobilized to secure the impact zone, and a cover story involving an asteroid crash was divulged.
Okay.
The crashed spacecraft, which was assigned the codename ARC-12 by High, bore no resemblance to any known spaceship design, instead being described as a golden Gothic cathedral in the form of a warship by a witness. After 16 hours, the spacecraft gates were opened and 5 humans emerged from it. They surrendered themselves willingly to Foundation operatives and were brought into custody for interrogation. They identified themselves as members of the Chaos Apostasy, an alternative version of the Chaos Insurgency that is working alongside the Covenant of the Second Hideoff to hinder SCP-7503 advances. They agreed to provide the Foundation with crucial information regarding the nature, history, and goals of SCP-7503. The information provided by the members of the Chaos Apostasy has so far been corroborated with translations from the ARC-12 database. Note: the SCP-7503's language appears to be a variation of ecclesiastical Latin. A brief history of SCP-7503. The point of divergence between Prime and Alpha-3 seems to be around the 12th century, when Alpha-3's version of the Catholic Church took a different approach toward anomalies than in the Prime timeline. Instead of condemning the anomalous as heretical, the Church incorporated it into its belief system and encouraged research into it. The specialized church jurisdiction, the Sanctificatio Continentium Pontificalis Congregatio, was established to conduct anomalous research under the supervision of the Council of Cardinals. Note: for the sake of simplicity, we will now refer to Sanctificatio Continentium Pontificalis Congregatio as SCPC. The priority direction of SCPC's research was to achieve sainthood as a rejection of the flesh and the material world. As a result of efforts, the Church perfected an anomalous procedure known as beatification. The exact details of the procedure are unknown, but it eventually entails the removal of all of an individual's flesh and the bounding of their soul into their skeleton. Beatified individuals lose the capacity to move on their own, but gain telepathic abilities, including the power to mentally influence and mind control any Catholic individual within a certain radius, and operate anomalous mechanical constructs known as reliquary, which are used as a means of transportation and war machines. Note: for the purpose of this file, the term Catholic individual or member of the Catholic faith refer to anyone who has received the 3 Catholic sacraments of Christian initiation, baptism, confirmation, and Eucharist, regardless of current religious affiliation. In 1392, the ruling pope underwent beatification and declared itself to be the Pope Emperor of mankind. The papal state
all hail the Pope Emperor of mankind!
Were refashioned into the Sacrum Humanum Imperium, also known as the SCP-7503, with the mind control capabilities of Betos over the Catholic population. Soon SCP-7503 exerted dominance over all of continental Europe. Armed with the reliquary and other anomalous weaponry, SCP-7503 launched a global crusade against all non-Catholic nations. By 1492, the last alliance of the Xia dynasty and the Devite Empire was crushed, finishing SCP-7503's conquest of Earth. SCPC's technological and thaumaturgical capacities continued to grow exponentially. By 1588, they had achieved space travel, as well as rudimentary terraforming and habitat building that allowed them to colonize the solar system. By
they got the jump, didn't they?
1630, faster-than-light travel was mastered, and it marked the beginning of SCP-7503's expansion into the Milky Way. As soon as alien life was encountered, it was declared heretical, and the Eternal Crusade was launched with the intention of purging the Milky Way of non-human life. The Crusade initially took extraterrestrial civilizations, with many of them being technologically inferior to SCP-7503 by surprise, and SCPC achieved rapid success in conquering large portions of the galaxy, eventually remaining, and more advanced alien civilizations organized to resist SCP-7503. This coalition was named the Covenant of the Second Hideoff, and managed to stall SCP-7503's conquest. With its space expansion halted, it is believed that SCP-7503 has turned its expansionist tides into alternate versions of Earth, specifically the Prime Timeline. The following is a transcript of an interview conducted between Julie Zavisna and Dr. Chakrabarty, taking place after Incident 143. Forward. Chaos Apostasy Operative Julie Zavisna agreed to offer all possible information on SCP-7503. The following log is part of a continuous interview process. Begin log. Dr. Chakrabarty greeted.
So not the Imperium man, it does borrow elements from it. I'm loving this so far. It's actually kind of creepy. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of busted. I'm just saying. And that guy's arm is way longer than it should be. In fact, how many hands do these people have and fingers on each hand? Oh my god.
Julius Zavisna, and asked about his well-being. He inquired if there was anything he could do to make Julius and his companions more comfortable. Julius responded by thanking Dr. Chakrabarty and stating that they were all right. He jokingly mentioned that he could abuse Dr. Chakrabarty's generosity by asking for more chocolate bars, as they were considered luxurious desserts in the Empire. Julius went on to explain that these were a pleasure reserved for high church officials who were ambitious enough to climb the ladder, but not fanatic enough to want to be beatified.
Yeah.
Julius also mentioned that he was enjoying being able to finally relax and not worrying about warding off indoctrination every moment of his life.
Yeah, lovely.
Dr. Chakrabarty expressed his relief that Julius was finding rest in their facility and asked about his method for breaking the indoctrination. Julius began by explaining that indoctrination was both a simple and difficult concept. He mentioned that he had been reading the documentation provided by Dr. Chakrabarty on the topic of memetics and saw similarities with the Sacrum, Humanum, Imperium indoctrination.
Sacrum, Humanum, Imperium. I love it.
However, Julius stated that he was not an expert and was not sure if he would call it a memetic effect, as it appeared to be working in a different channel. Dr. Chakrabarty acknowledged that there were many things that were not yet understood about memetics, and agreed with Julius's assessment that the indoctrination may not be memetic in nature.
Okay.
He pointed out that the telepathic abilities of the Umpos likely played a role in the indoctrination process. He then asked Julius if he had discovered any other information about the indoctrination. Julius Zavisna mentioned that after reading the documents provided by Dr. Chakrabarty on the Relici, he saw that the doctor was already aware of the requisites for susceptibility to the indoctrination. He explained that in order to be susceptible, one needs to have received the 3 sacraments of baptism, confirmation, and Eucharist. However, Julius stated that this
Dude, what's up with your teeth, bruh?
is not enough to maintain total control. A certain degree of true faith is also needed. He said that people have to actually believe that those sacraments mean something, and that the church has the truth in order to fall for the indoctrination.
Right.
Julius added that if that faith is somehow shaken, then the indoctrination can be broken. He noted that it is not common, but some people will just spontaneously have a crisis of faith and break free. Dr. Chakrabarty asked Julius if he was one of the people who broke free from the indoctrination through a crisis of faith. Julius Zavisna stated that he was not one of the people who broke free from the...
Dude, these lads look like the Grand Wizards of Virginity. I'm just saying.
The indoctrination through a crisis of faith. He explained that others, like himself, may need a little help. He mentioned that when the apostasy identified him as a possible recruit, they approached him with an offer, Julius also revealed that certain high-concentration amnestic drugs can help to break long-term indoctrination.
Okay.
However, he emphasized that the choice to take the pill or not ultimately lies with the individual. He acknowledged that it can be harder to live without faith, and that the apostasy is always on the lookout for individuals who may need their help. He explained that not only do they need more recruits, but joining the apostasy is the only way for these individuals to survive, as they would otherwise be easy prey for the Horizon Inquisition. Julius also mentioned that the indoctrination can come back again if the faith is somehow restored, so they always had to keep an eye out for each other and themselves. He expressed his hope that this revelation would not shatter the little trust that Dr. Chakrabarty had put in them. Dr. Chakrabarty responded by saying that, truth be told, they never really trusted anyone and that it was nothing personal. He acknowledged that Julius would agree that it is the best policy in the long run. Dr. Chakrabarty then asked Julius what he could tell him about the Inquisition. Julius Avisna explained that
this dude is... wow. That guy looks like... just wow.
The Inquisition is the secret police of the Empire, purging every side of heresy wherever they find it, and whatever they decide it will be this time.
Yep.
He also mentioned that they are the reason the apostasy works mostly as independent cells, stating that it is better this way to maintain the charade that they are still loyal subjects of the Empire. Julius emphasized that even though the apostasy is their principal target, no one is safe.
It's like Darkwing Duck's final form right here.
He said that everyone who shows even the slightest sign of breaking the indoctrination will become prey for them. Dr. Chakrabarty mentioned that one of Julius's companions...
Bruh, you got a long torso, I'm just saying. That guy in the blue shirt, his torso is longer than his legs. That is actually kind of concerning, bruh.
Had mentioned
you might want to get that checked out. It looks like you've been jumping up and down way too much.
Something interesting about the indoctrination. He said that if he understood correctly, the physical proximity to a Beto should also factor into it. Julius Avisna confirmed that proximity to a Beto does play a role in the indoctrination. He explained that it is easier to break away when they are not around, and fortunately, they can't be everywhere. He mentioned that only 15% of the population has been beatified, mostly government and church officials, but also the reliquary army. He added that since they are functionally immortal and can occupy their post indefinitely, they don't let anyone new in unless strictly necessary.
Huh.
Julius mentioned that at some point, the apostasy feared that the Umpos wanted to turn all humankind into them, but they seem eager to maintain the hierarchy. He said that as far as they know, Umpos can't indoctrinate each other, but among them, there is a strict hierarchy, and they keep the details of the procedure well guarded. He also mentioned that there seem to be different levels of it, corresponding to different psychic prowess. Not all saints are created equal.
Uh-huh.
Dr. Chakrabarty acknowledged that the collective power of the Umpos is terrifying. He understood that the apostasy would not be able to conduct their operation without the help of the Covenant of the Second Hideoff. Julius Avisna acknowledged that the Covenant of the Second Hideoff has provided the apostasy with tons of resources, including many that Dr. Chakrabarty would consider anomalous. He said that without their help, the apostasy would have fallen a long time ago. In exchange for their help, the apostasy serves as intel and helps to sabotage Sacrum, Humanum, Imperium military campaigns against the Covenant. He also explained that this is partially the reason they ended up in Dr. Chakrabarty's facility, as they were investigating a massive military mobilization they suspected was another crusade against the Covenant. Julius mentioned that something was off, as for an interstellar military campaign of that magnitude, they should have been preparing a massive armada.
Yeah?
But there was no armada this time. Instead, just smaller ships more suited for interplanetary travel. That was how they realized they were not getting ready for space travel.
Okay.
Dr. Chakrabarty asked Julius to continue with his explanation. Julius Aveisner continued.
Okay, so this artwork I've been loving so far. I have been absolutely digging this artwork. This looks like what I would expect this to see. I'm pretty sure that he got the AI did all this artwork, but this is what you'd expect to see out of a nation state like this.
By explaining that they were already aware of parallel timelines because of Covenant intel. He also mentioned that they had gathered some information suggesting that the SCP Foundation was looking into time-related anomalies.
Okay.
This made them suspicious, so they managed to steal one of the Sacrum Humanum Imperium ships and confirm that it had been modified for trans-timeline travel.
Okay.
This explained the lack of an interstellar armada, as they didn't need one if their plan was to invade Earth, another Earth. Dr. Chakrabarty acknowledged Julius's decision to leave everything behind to warn them as a very brave and risky move.
Yes, it is.
He acknowledged that some may doubt that Julius did it for Christian charity, as he had said in his earlier statement. Julius Aveisner acknowledged that Dr. Chakrabarty had many reasons to be distrustful of them. He reminded the doctor that he is free to check their ship logs to corroborate what they are telling him, but even that's still a bet, as they could be fakes. Julius pointed out that even men of science like Dr. Chakrabarty have to sometimes take a leap of faith.
This is true.
He mentioned that whether Dr. Chakrabarty believes him or not, his conscience is clean. Julius paused for a while before continuing, suggesting that he had something more to say about the charity aspect of their operation. Julius Aveisner continued by explaining that back in their timeline, neither the apostasy nor the Covenant of the Second Hideoff had been able to make any advances against the Sacrum Humanum Imperium in centuries. He said that they hoped that maybe, just maybe, if the Sacrum Humanum Imperium were to be defeated here, they could be destabilized enough to be vulnerable in their timeline.
Okay.
He emphasized that the apostates won't rest until the Empire is gone, and they will try anything to have their victory, no matter how hard or dangerous. He said that this is the nature of the mission, and reminded Dr. Chakrabarty that the apostate's motto is ad astra per spera, meaning to the stars through difficulties. Dr. Chakrabarty said,
Okay, what the hell? That thing looks awesome.
That he admired Julius's conviction, but he didn't want to sour his hope.
I actually just yanked my headset out. Oh, good God. I do that way too often, guys. I do that way too often. There we go.
He mentioned that they had already had some encounters with SCP-7503 and that their military technology was formidable. He admitted that they had a hard time against only one relicarium. Julius reminded Dr. Chakrabarty that this was only reconnaissance and that the true extent of their strength will be seen soon.
Yeah.
Dr. Chakrabarty stated that they are doing everything in their power to prepare against SCP-7503.
I don't think you could.
Julius advised Dr. Chakrabarty that even that may not be enough, and that they need to go beyond. Dr. Chakrabarty confidently replied that they will, and that they are the SCP Foundation, the real one, and they always do.
The real one, not the fake one.
Julius Aveisner repeated his warning to Dr. Chakrabarty that even though they have allies in this timeline, he should not put much trust in them. Dr. Chakrabarty asked Julius to clarify who he was referring to when he said not to put trust in them. Julius Aveisner replies the Horizon, the Inquisition, and the ones they call the Initiative. End log. Closing statement. SCP Foundation is currently in urgent discussion with the GOC and the Horizon Initiative to prepare against the threat posed by SCP-7503. And this concludes our discussion on the religious zealots who have established a galaxy-spanning empire. I hope this information has been helpful.
Yes.
And thought-provoking. As a complex and ongoing situation, it will require continued monitoring and research. The SCP Foundation will continue to work towards understanding and mitigating the threat posed by this group. We encourage anyone with relevant information to report it to the SCP Foundation. I hope you have enjoyed this examination, and I appreciate your attention. However, we kindly request that you do not subscribe to this channel, as we strive to maintain a low profile in order to effectively carry out our mission. Thank you.
That's one way to go about it. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, hold on a second. Let me have a look at this. Oh, nope. I'm such a boomer. I am such a boomer. Hold on a second. Alright, there we go. Let me take a look at this. Alright, so this guy has 8,707 views on this as of me watching this. And he only has 362 subscribers. I think that number should be bounced up. I think that number should be bounced up very, very, very... Yes, it needs to be. Somebody's commented this should be... I'm surprised this is SCP 40,000. This is true. 7503 is rather horrifying. And all hail the Pope Emperor of Mankind. Praise be the Pope Emperor of Mankind. Guys, I'm so uniquely disturbed. I love the SCP Foundation. I love when it draws from things that I know about. This one, on the other hand, was... It was one of those situations... God, I boomered that whole transition thing up. Guys, what? Like, I'm just going to headbutt a wall until I understand what's wrong with me. So, the Catholic Church, in the span of 100 years, conquers the globe as a unified force. It honestly would not surprise me. Especially considering what he was talking about, the beatification, everything else of that nature. But the Pope Emperor of Mankind is a serious bastard, and we must take him seriously. Talk about a way to actually... The one thing about humanity is how divided we are. Even at our most united, we are absolutely divided. But a central unifying force can move mountains, especially if it's directed at a certain area. I've often said that a population that is driven and striven towards a centralized goal will do that very well. And I kind of limit the fact that we're not a little bit more like that. We're not a little bit more driven towards goals and driven towards what we could be doing. Hold on a second. I have been interrupted by someone who is staring at me.
Are you recording?
Yes, I'm recording.
When you're done, come out here, please.
What?
When you're done, come out here, please.
No.
Yes.
I don't wanna.
Don't care.
Ah! I'm over here having a philosophical talk. She just busts in the door. That's what happens. Anyhow, guys, go check this guy out. Go check him out. I'm going to be putting all of his links in the description down below. Crux of Mystery. Guys, that was entertaining. I love his segment at the end where he's talking about don't subscribe to me, because I'm going to break that rule. I will catch you guys next time. Be sure to leave a like and a comment. Head over there and break his rule and subscribe as soon as you can. I'm out, you guys. Oh, my God. All hail the Pope Emperor of Mankind!